What I don't like what they did with Hit Girl in this is that we're just seeing Mindy McCready. We're not seeing her as Hit Girl. We see her as Hit Girl in the beginning and the end. That's it. In the middle, she's just Mindy. And I wouldn't mind that, but it's just that she's a lot more interesting as Hit Girl. You know, I mean, like, come on, man. So I both like and hate that. Dave is actually getting a little bit better at being kick-ass. He's not getting his ass kicked as much in this movie when he goes up against street gangs and criminals. I mean, he's gonna get kicked to the ground a lot, but there's a scene in the movie where I can't be giving anything away because this clip leaked on the internet before the film came out, so I'm pretty sure everybody has seen this clip. When he's dressed as a pimp, and this street gang is following him, and he's talking to Hit Girl on the other line, and Hit Girl comes in and saves his ass. But before Hit Girl comes in, Dave manages to really kick some ass for about a minute and a half. He's not getting, beaten to the ground. I mean, he does get beaten to the ground later, but he's actually learned something, because him and Hit Girl are training, which I really liked. I liked that too. Hit Girl was showing him all her moves and everything so that he could be just as good as her. But then we get to the villains of the movie, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I don't know. Once again, I'm sorry about that. But he wants to get revenge for spoiler alert for the first one, Kick-Ass killing his father in the first movie, which we all knew was going to happen. The movie ends like that when Christopher Mintz-Plasse looks at the camera and says, "Wait till they get a load of me. Yeah, I'm McLovin." When he talks like that. I'm sorry. Couldn't resist. I had to do that. So we all knew that was going to come. My God, is he the most... there's comic relief in villains. This guy is nothing but comic relief. He is a fucking riot. I'm sorry for using that language. I try not to use language on the show, but... swear jar. I got $5 right here, because I'm going to use more swear words in this. He is so... He's not Red Mist anymore. He is now known... Money. The motherfucker. He's known as the motherfucker. You cannot take a name like that seriously for a villain. But you're not supposed to with this, because it's this kid who's a whining little bitch bag. The first scene he's in this movie is a riot between him and his mother, which I will dare not give away because I was laughing my frickin' ass off to that scene. The first scene that we see him in Kick-Ass 2 with him and his mom. Oh my God, that was so funny. It's crude, but it's funny. I found it funny. So yeah, and Hit Girl is going into high school and everything, trying to be a normal teenager because of a promise she made to her father if he never makes it out alive or if he dies. And she's going against high school bitches. And that alone is freaking awesome what she does, because they humiliate her and trash her and embarrass her in front of a lot of kids and everything, and she decides to fight back, and it's all I'm gonna say is there's a lot of gurgitating as an end result. You'll see with this with that scene. I don't know how that's possible, of how she does that with that little device, but it's still a great payoff. It really is, how she takes down those high school bitches. And not as Hit Girl, not as Mindy McCready, which is even more great, okay? That proves you don't have to wear a costume to be a badass, okay? And Dave is dealing with all the pressures of whether or not he should be kick-ass, which I like that. I really did enjoy that. I'm glad that they took it to that level. Now, here's another thing with these movies. I didn't even know this was based off a comic book. I had no idea. I'm not a comic book guy. I consider myself a nerd. I'm crazy about a lot of things, but I'm not a comic book guy. I don't read comic books. If anything, I read comics with an X instead of a CS, okay? Like Calvin and Hobbes, stuff like that. That's what I read. I don't read comic books. I really don't. I've never even tried that, actually. And I'm not a real big superhero fan. I like Batman and Superman and Spider-Man. That's about it. But I'm not like hardcore fans. Like, I don't know every little thing that happens to these superheroes. I really don't. I really don't, to be honest with you. Sorry, that's who I am. But when it comes to these movies, I strongly recommend that you check these movies out. If you're going to see Kick-Ass 2, watch the first one, then watch the second one. Oh, I almost forgot. Jim Carrey as Colonel Stars and Stripes. I almost forgot to mention this. Spoiler alert. Big spoiler alert. He dies in Kick-Ass 2. Colonel Stars and Stripes. And I was so pissed about that because he was one of the most interesting characters in the sequel. I loved Jim Carrey as this guy. Okay? Now, I should make this clear. I forgot to mention this because this movie goes all over the place and everything, but it's still good. What I love about Kick-Ass 2 is the fact that they're continuing the story. You know, Hit Girl's going off to high school and everything. She doesn't want to be Hit Girl anymore. And Kick-Ass is wondering whether or not he should be Kick-Ass anymore. And there's a lot of other people dressing up as superheroes who got inspired by Kick-Ass to be their own Justice League of America or whatever. I forget what they're called. But, and they're led by Jim Carrey as Colonel Stars and Stripes, who is so freaking awesome. I love that guy. I love Jim Carrey, too. I think Jim Carrey's great. Donald Faison, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, from Scrubs. He's in this as Dr. Gravity. I think he's good. I wish they would have given him more screen time. That's another thing. They don't give all these new superheroes more screen time. They're just there, you know? Like, I remember there was this one kid who admits that he's gay, and he said that that's why he doesn't wear a mask. He feels like he'll stay in the closet if he doesn't wear a mask or something. Which I kind of laughed. I thought that was kind of funny. But that's all you hear. I don't even know what I don't even remember what that kid's name was. What was his name? There's a team of parents who are looking for their son, and they dress up as, like, you know, they're a mom and dad. They're looking for their kid, and I don't even remember what their names were. And Night Bitch, they don't give anything for Night Bitch to do. All she does is bone Kick-Ass. That's all I can think about. That's the only thing I can say for Night Bitch. She doesn't do anything. She just looks at Kick-Ass and smiles at him, and they have sex. And that's it. I can't remember one other thing about her. You know, I wish they would have given these characters more screen time. They give Colonel Stars and Stripes his own moments. I mean, there's a scene in the movie where they all go in to take down a bunch of these criminals who are involved in prostitution. And that's the scene that we all seen in the trailer when where Eisenhower, you know, grabs that guy's balls, and Jim Carrey's like, "Hey, you got a dog on your balls." You know, that's a good scene, because I love what Jim Carrey, he's like the leader of that whole, you know, clan, aside from Kick-Ass. Like, he walks in these, they're about to go in, and they got their baseball bats ready to beat the shit out of these criminals, and they knock on the door, and he turns around and he's like, "Oh, guys, remember one thing. Have some fun. Otherwise, what's the point?" And then the door opens and they just beat the shit out of these assholes, and damn! And they got that guy tied to the chair, and he's like, "Who are you?" And Jim Carrey's like, "We're the good guys." You know? That's just... Damn! He's just a... God, that was a great character. Why did they kill him? I loved that character so... He was good. If they made Kick-Ass 3, I would have loved to see him come back. Now let's get to the villains. Let's be honest. The only villain, aside from the motherfucker that we remember, is Mother Russia. Who is really freaking awesome. Like, there's a scene when the supervillains track down Night Bitch and they're holding her hostage, and these... one cop car after the other, after the other, after the other comes down the street, and Mother Russia just goes apeshit on their asses. And I know they're the villains, but it's so freaking cool, man. It's awesome. So, I'm just rambling right now. I'm talking about a lot of things. I gotta wrap this up because I'm going really overboard with this. I strongly recommend these... Oh, one more thing. I like to give you a little notion about this. When it comes to the action scenes in Kick-Ass 2, this really pisses me off. I hate it when directors film action scenes and they use the shaky cam. I don't understand that. Do you think that by shaking the camera more, kind of like this, would make an action scene any better? No! It means that we can't see the action. Because here's the thing, you know, it doesn't do it as much in this movie. When the action scenes come on, it does it a little bit, but for the most part, you can see what's going on. In Taken 2, you couldn't see shit during those action scenes. The camera went all over the place. You couldn't see a thing. Here, you kind of do, but I'm just so sick of it. I mean, in the first Kick-Ass, you didn't have the shaky cam. You didn't have that. You know, why don't you get a storyboard and storyboard this shit out and make it look good, you know, and make the choreography for these fight scenes look good. That's what makes a good action scene. I mean, we've seen Kill Bill. You know, there's this one point where I compared Hit Girl as a young version of the bride from Kill Bill. She's like this little, cute, innocent girl, and at any point she's gonna pull out a katana and just rip limbs and tear up people. I mean, that's what the bride did in Kill Bill. And Quentin Tarantino did not use the shaky cam for the action scenes. No, he storyboarded it out. He got it right. And that's what makes the action scenes more memorable. Shaking the camera like this when people are punching and kicking the shit out of people doesn't make it any more interesting. It just makes it tiring, and we're just standing there scratching our heads trying to figure out, what am I supposed to be watching? But that's a little side note there. I gotta get going because it's really, really, really hot in this room. So, aside from that, Kick-Ass is great. Kick-Ass 2 is, for me, is just as good as the first one. It has its flaws, but it's still a good movie. So, I'm AB, and I will see you guys in the next review. Take care.